The exploitation and oppression of women came into being with the emergence of private property and the division of society into two main classes. From the slaves and masters to the lords and serfs, and now to the bourgeoisie and proletariat. The patriarchy of present class society predates capitalism and goes back to slave societies and feudalism. The patriarchy of the capitalist economy in our current society generally casts women as inferior with fewer rights and the private property of men with whom they enter a marriage or relationship with. In fact, the main purpose of marriage in the early days was to act as an alliance between families for economic and political reasons. Domestic violence against women and children flows from this patriarchal, oppressive, and capitalist order. The bourgeoisie as a whole exploits and benefits from paid work done by women in the workplace and unpaid work done mostly by women at home. Without this work, the survival of capitalism could not be created or maintained. Capitalism relies on this constant, never-ending exploitation of women. And for the overwhelming majority of working women, exploitation at work is multiplied by this added responsibility as the main carers at home. Capitalist relations of production create a culture that commercializes and commodifies women as objects. Many of the inequalities and injustices of capitalism are visited more frequently and more intensively upon women of the working class than on men. In over 120 years of struggle since achieving the right to vote in Australia, women have achieved some important social and legislative improvements. But the continuation of exploitation, discrimination, abuse, and the burdens and stresses facing working women at work and at home are largely unchanged. This system is inherently opposed to women's liberation. Women at work have to deal with sexual harassment from male workers, and the richest in our societies are majority men, and women often get better grades but less job opportunities as adults. Feminism and socialism have an overlap in their history, which is quite interesting. In fact, the Constitution of the USSR guaranteed equality for women. Quote, "Women in the USSR are accorded equal rights with men in all spheres of economic, state, cultural, social, and political life." In practice, Soviet women saw massive gains in their rights under socialism. Women's suffrage was granted, abortion was legalized in 1920, making the Soviet Union the first country to allow women to make decisions about their own body, and martial rape was made illegal in the Soviet Union as well. Also, along with women given the right to vote, they were also given the right to own property. As for China, before socialism, women were very cruelly treated. Their feet were bound and broken for men's gratification. The first law of the new People's Republic of China was the marriage law, which freed women from authority of their fathers and their husbands. Millions of women are inspired by Chairman Mao and his great slogan, "Women hold up half the sky." Women in Cuba have the same constitutional rights as men in the economic, political, cultural, and social fields, as well as in the family. Cuba is regarded as the regional front-runner in women's rights. During the Vietnam War, the ruling Communist Party of Vietnam made efforts to increase women's rights, equity, and representation in the government. This included the creation of job quotas during the 1960s, which required that women occupy a certain percentage of jobs in different sectors. Since then, feminism in Vietnam has made a great leap, and the women's status has improved greatly. They are now an integral part of the workforce, holding executive positions in a variety of sectors. The Marxist-Leninist Communist Party of Australia has fabulous policies on women's rights and works with women all across Australia. They fight alongside working women in the struggles for economic and social equality, respect, and an end to violence, abuse, and exploitation of women. We must end inequality, and we must end the system that enforces it. For more videos like this, check out my channel on YouTube, and check out the Marxist-Leninist Communist Party of Australia's website for more details. Thank you for watching this video.